Now, though, let's talk to Francis Gilbert, who's an author and teacher. An extraordinary story in the papers this morning about a school trip to Switzerland where one girl apparently slept with 3 boys, another had sex with another boy for £30, others stole alcohol and wielded knives. I mean, I don't want to make light of this, Francis, but it doesn't sound like any school trips I went on when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say, to reassure parents who are listening, this school was an alternative provision school, so it was admitting children who had been excluded from mainstream school.
Okay.
And they've probably been excluded for reasons of misbehaviour.
Right.
And that the teaching authorities took steps to sack the head teacher who allowed this to happen. There was a proper hearing, and it does sound like to me that the head teacher was very negligent in the way in which she supervised things. And I would like to say that, 99.9% of teachers are very, very dutiful about safeguarding issues, and this sort of thing is not typical at all.
Yes. No, I think that's right. The thing that surprised me about it mostly, I suppose, is how long it took for this decision to be made, because I think the school trip was in 2017, wasn't it, which is 7 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that is worrying, isn't it? I think
it's an awfully long time to wait to decide what to do about somebody's job, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I assume the teacher in question would have been suspended until the actual investigation happened.
Yeah.
So, you
yeah, but even then, 7 years is ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the teaching regulation authorities are pretty unresourced, under-resourced, and so things like this, it's like the court system, take a long time, and it is a proper sort of professional process, and obviously everyone has to sort of marshal their evidence, blah blah blah. So but
I'm sorry, I'm not having that. I mean, I don't care how under-resourced they are. If they can't manage to get a decision out of somebody, whether it's a board or whether it's a committee or whatever it is, in 7 years, I mean, surely to God, I mean, give them 2 years. I'd give them 2, not 7.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Micah. It does seem, ridiculously long, drawn-out process for everyone involved. Yeah.
And I mean, as far as these schools go, are there lots of them in Britain? Are they sort of quite rare? Is it quite hard to get into them?
It is relatively hard to get into them. There are quite a lot of them. They have to have very high staff-pupil ratios. So, often it's 1 teacher to 1 pupil, because you are talking about, highly disturbed students who may be violent in some sort of way, and the mainstream system just can't take them. So there are quite a lot, for example, in London, but dotted across the country. There's various kind of what we call pupil referral units, or alternative provision, to try and cater for these students. I mean, it really is a last resort, because many of these students just, when they go to schools like this, do not obviously achieve very much.
No, of course. It's not very wise to take them on holiday to Switzerland, perhaps.
No, I mean, these schools do try and experiment with different ways of getting these students engaged with various kind of different activities. So, I mean, the point is that often they're really demotivated and often come from homes where, they've been really neglected and may have never had a holiday. So it is a shame that, it's not being properly supervised in this case, because often these children actually really do need some sort of holiday which they may never have had.
No, sure. I mean, is there any thoughts on the investigation as to whether they didn't really have enough responsible adults on the trip or something?
Definitely. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? The head teacher didn't have a grip, and it sounds like she was very lax and, encouraging an adult to stay with a student, and obviously there was sort of sexual encounters happening, and knives being carried, and it was a totally unsatisfactory situation. I would say that I know a lot of these alternative provision PRUs, and they are very, very tightly run, and this is not a typical example of what happens in them.
No, well, thank goodness for that. Good to talk to you, Francis. Thank you very much indeed. Francis Gilbert, author and teacher. Susan says this, Mike, why can't the electric gas suppliers put everyone on the best rate? I only have 1 rate. I changed mine the other day and it saved me £5 a day.